Welcome back, everybody. This is the Crazy Kirby Kid, and right now we are going to be looking at playstyles of a few Ike players. Now, the first player we have up here is Rave, and according to the questionnaire that he filled out, he is good at reflexes, and he likes to beat his opponents down with superior knowledge in his aggressive offensive game. So right off the bat, I'm going to open up with a defensive stance. Right here, jabs are very good for Ike. It allows him to break up my reactive offensive game, but as soon as Ike stops using jabs, he's going to lose out in a lot of these encounters, as you'll see throughout this match. So right now I have him on the edge, taking a bit of damage. He uses his counter, and a counter is a very tricky move to use because you're going to need to anticipate your opponent's attacks in order for it to be successful. So it's a kind of move that you would only use if you're good at adapting and not in predicting, and not necessarily good at reflexes. So right now I have taken Ike off his game, and the less jabs that he uses, the harder it is for him to break my defensive stance here. So right now I'm going to my ultimate defensive stance. I'm just going to stand still and see what he does. And I'm pretty surprised that he used a forward smash there to try to retaliate, because that move takes such a long time to come out. He needs to use a lot more safe moves and do a lot more moving, but he seems pretty content on the ground. So as long as he's going to do forward smashes, I'm just going to continually defend against them. And now that he's on the platform, I gain the advantage. He's off the edge. I use a down air into an up tilt because those two moves work really well together. And the more he uses counters, the more he's going to realize that my defensive stance beats that particular strategy. So if he's good at offensive strategies, or that's the kind of strategies and playstyles that he likes to use, I don't think that he should use counters, because it really reveals that it really switches his game, and it reveals a weakness in that particular approach. So right now I have him completely off his game. Moving him back across the stage with an aggressive play. The counters are simply not working. I can scare him using an arrow, pop him up. He decides to use Eruption. I perfect shield it, hit him out of his recovery animation, and that's the end of the game. So our next Ike player here used to frequent the tournaments that I used to hold in my hometown, so I know him pretty well. His name is Slaps, and he says he's pretty good at adapting, and his playstyle is a learner or research and development playstyle, which means he's going to be looking carefully at what I'm doing in order to try to change mid-game to my style. So I opened up defensively, and he counters with a grab, which is the best thing to do for Ike against my mirror shield. And he's going to go back and forth between aggressive plays and defensive plays, using his jab well to break up my game. But Slap says he's not very good at timing, so we're going to see how that works out through this match. And because this is Brawl balance, Ike was able to recover after using his forward B. This is something that Slaps found out about mid-match and decided to incorporate in his game, which means he's good at adapting, except for when he overextends himself, because he's still Ike. So right now he's using grabs and jabs to mix up my simple counter playstyle. So I'm going to switch to a quick aerial countermeasure, and then go into ground with my safe jabs. Sort of work him over left and right. It's a little dangerous on the edge when you're playing against Ike. You can take a lot of damage from his up B or get spiked, but I'm pretty comfortable playing Pit in mid-air, so I really don't get scared on the edge that easily, except for when I glide off to the side on accident. See, that's why you shouldn't try to necessarily loop an arrow and glide back to the stage at the same time. It's a pretty tricky maneuver that requires a lot of subtle and delicate analog stick dexterity, and right now I just didn't have it in me, so I killed myself, but that's alright. Use the forward B to break up Ike's rising up B. he used jabs, but he wasn't quite confident in converting them into anything else, so I got a shield grab off. And now I'm chasing him around the stage. And the same mirror shields reflect Ike's recovery. I mean, the more Ike pressures me off the stage, the more he's going to have to use his recovery to get back, which means he's going to be open more and more to that hard counter right there. So right now I'm converting low airs into safe grounds, working my way in. Jumping off his head, because I have a really good sense of Ike's limitations when he takes it to the air. And I missed the forward air and got killed by an up smash, but that's alright. So we're down to our last stock, and let's see how Slap's game has evolved throughout the match. Tricky back air, staying safe with jabs, that's a good thing. Converting to up smashes. Using bold grabs to break me up, but you have to be careful when you're going off the edge with Ike, because if you overextend yourself, you're as good as gone. So those two Ike players were pretty good, but the next Ike player we're going to see incorporate the best things from all the other Ike players into a much more powerful, much more well-rounded game. Stay tuned.